The construction of the Lagos-Kano standard gauge rail tracks will commence between January and February 2020. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, made this known in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, during the monthly rail inspection. Amechi said the rail construction works is vital to moving goods from the Apapa Port Terminal to several inland ports across the country. They added that the Lagos-Ibadan rail network, which is almost completed, will help decongest the Apapa Port Terminal and reduce traffic gridlocks being experienced within the Lagos metropolis.
The whole of the seaport is blocked. We need to empty it and open it up. And as soon as this is completed, you'll see the quantity of cargo that will be leaving the seaport and heading towards Ibadan. We believe that between January and February, we will commence construction of the standard gauge from Ibadan to Kano. So as we move forward, that's how those goods will be going. It gets to Kano. And it's critical we get to Kano. By latest April, we will see that we can move cargoes between here and Ibadan, at least. And that will be at 120 kilometers per day. In fact, if you complete the entire Lagos to Kano, it will take you 6 to 7 hours to get to Kano. If you do, because design speed is 150 kilometers, and then actual distance is 120 kilometers. But you can actually push the train to 150 kilometers.
Joining us in the studio is Plus TV Africa's Abuja Bureau Chief, Head Northern Operations, Amadin. Thank you very much for joining us on the news.
Thank you, Felicity.
Please bring us up to speed on this latest inspection. You have been following the rail construction over the months.
Now, this particular inspection was the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge modernization project. Now, the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge modernization project is part of several rail infrastructure networks the federal government is trying to put in place. We have the coastal rail network, which runs from Lagos to Calabar. We have the Lagos to Kano rail line, which is broken into several segments. We have Lagos-Ibadan. We have Ibadan to Jeba, Abuja, then Abuja to Kaduna, which is already working. It was completed by the last administration, I think between 70 to 80%. And when President Muhammadu Buhari came in, he completed it. The last administration had gone really, really far. Then we have the Kaduna to Kano. Now, the Lagos-Ibadan had been a priority for government because of the current challenges being faced at the Lagos axis. The contract was initially meant to be a 3-year contract, but the Ministry of Transportation had insisted that since the Chinese have so much doing, they should complete it within 2 years because of the problem being faced, the traffic gridlocks, the trailers on the along the Lagos roads, which is causing near to no traffic. So government is hoping that the tracks will be extended into the Apapa ports so it can ferry goods out to Ibadan and several other inland dry ports around the country.
The minister mentioned something about a technology that will allow the train to run with pipeline underneath it. How safe is this, and what can you tell us about it?
Now, I know that the Ebutemeta axis, the Alagomeji axis to our Papa port had been a major problem because the initial contract was not from the Apapa ports to Ibadan. The initial contract was from the Ebutemeta Alagomeji axis to Ibadan via Abeokuta, via Iju, Alagbado, Abeokuta, and then Ibadan. But what happened was that federal government came up with this novel idea that since we are modernizing the railway, why don't we push it into the ports so that these trailers which are in menace to, on Lagos roads, they don't need to come into Lagos to ferry goods out of the ports. The coaches will bring out the goods from the Apapa terminal out, and then they can pick it but the problem they now had was this. Lagos is a metropolitan city, and they discovered so many pipelines along the parts of the tracks. Some were water pipelines, some were gas pipelines, some were oil pipelines. It was so bad that they did not even know who owned what. They just knew that these pipelines had been on the underground for several years, And for fear of crippling Lagos, the Lagos economy, which is virtually like the Nigerian economy, it was a problem. So what the minister said was that they brought in experts who now came up with a technology that say we're not going to touch these pipelines. We're going to, this technology will enable us build the tracks on the pipelines. While the pipelines continue its normal work, the tracks will go on the pipelines and then into their Apapa ports.
You agree with me that this project has come a long way since then, and there is a deadline. From all your observation, do you think that they will meet the deadline of completion? Now,
when you talk of track laying from almost Ebute Metta down to, let me say, Iju, because as of yesterday, they were coming into Lagos, the Mushin area and the rest, to Ibadan. They have succeeded in laying the whole the standard gauge rail tracks. But the problem now has to be the train stations, because there are several train stations. The train has to make stops. Not all the train stations are complete, but a lot of them are at an advanced stage. So from what we saw on ground, I think that they will meet the deadline, because the contract is 3 years. They've just worked for 2 years. And the ministry is insisting you must finish it latest April. The Chinese have given a timeline that by January, February, they will install the communication equipment. Once the communication equipments are installed, then I think it is ready to go. So the contract will be met.
I think we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for coming on the news.
Thank you, Felicity.